Right, it is Wednesday, the 16th of October. Welcome to the program this morning. My name is Brian Amwai. Of course, today will be rather a busy day whereby we expect the upper house, that is the Senate, to start the process of listening to the case of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua as far as his impeachment is concerned. And this is a trial whereby we could actually cement what we will actually start calling the grand divorce, that is the divorce between President William Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Now, the Deputy President, or rather the second in command, has been up and about trying to seek justice in the corridors of justice, trying to see if the courts are going to prevent the Senate from hearing this, continuing with this impeachment motion, but that has not bore any fruits. So the process will go on as planned, and from there, then he can try and seek reprieve from the corridors of justice. That is, if at all, he will not have gotten justice in the Senate, whereby they are going to listen to this particular impeachment motion. Now, the Deputy President is expected to garner close to 23 votes for him to be able to survive this impeachment. The Senate needs 45 votes to be able to kick him out. This time round, the whole House will be taking a vote. That is the nominated senators and also the elected senators. In total, we have close to 67 senators. For the two-thirds to pass, it has to be 45 votes. For the two-thirds to fail, it has to be less than 45 votes. The Deputy President is now a battle of numbers. Does he have the numbers in the upper house to be able to sustain this particular fight and also just maintain what could actually maintain his stay in office by using the numbers in the House? That is something that we will wait and see. Of course, the National Assembly has tabled quite a number of evidence as far as impeachment is concerned, with 11 grounds saying that they have sufficient evidence to be able to look into that and prove that the Deputy President warrants an impeachment. The Senate will say, we are going to look in details into this particular evidence. But one thing that actually begs the question is that this is a session that will be listened to in plenary and not at a committee, as opposed to what we've been able to see in the past. The argument has been, in plenary, we don't get to execute one by one in details and try to see whether all grounds have been proved beyond reasonable doubt. So it's something that we are going to be having a conversation on and see whether he actually has a chance at fighting this particular battle in the Senate, or it is an exercise in futility. Start engaging us on our socials. At Amwai Brian, that is on X, at K24 TV, across social media platforms, that is on Facebook, on X, and also on YouTube. We'll be sampling your feedback as we continue the program this morning. Do tell us where you are watching us from and what you think about what is happening in the country as far as the state of the nation and politics is concerned. And that has to do with the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. But before we get into that conversation later on, which will be covering all the way to late in the evening, I'll be doing a conversation here and, of course, crossing over to the Senate to get to hear those proceedings, with the National Assembly expected to table its evidence today, do some cross-examination, and also prove its case by providing witnesses that are going to testify on that particular front. It will be a long day of action, especially at the Senate. And here at K24, we are ready for that and to cover it on your behalf. But I want us to take a look at what's shaping the news this particular morning and what you're waking up to. Now, 9 single-sitting judges have declined to stop Parliament from processing the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, with his fate now lying with the Senate, which is investigating the matter today and on Thursday before taking a vote. However, in yet another application that will be ruled today morning by a 3-judge bench, Gachagua is keen to also get restraining orders barring any replacement of his position should he be impeached. Joel Chacha now reports.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has lost a total of 9 court bids to arrest the ongoing impeachment process against him, as the Senate embarks to investigate 11 grounds for his removal from office for 2 days beginning Wednesday.
Having considered the application and argument by parties, the Constitution and the President, the prayer for grant of conservatory order is declined.
Justice Chacha has now directed the case to be heard by a bench that has already been appointed by Chief Justice Martha Koome to determine 6 other petitions.
I certify this petition as raising substantial questions of law and of public interest in terms of Article 165 sub-Article 4 of the Constitution. This file is to be placed before the Honorable Chief Justice to consider appointing an uneven number of judges to hear this petition.
However, Gachagua is not relenting. Yet another application is pending before a three-judge bench led by Eric Ogola, Anthony Mrima, and Frida Mugambe, seeking to ban the Senate from possessing the motion.
And Your Lordship, I have no doubt I'll be able to convince you to grant a conservatory order.
We aim to render a ruling tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Gachagua is keen to remain in office until all the cases related to his impeachment are heard and determined, and also no replacement to be sworn in case he's ousted.
The consequences of the functions that will ensue either tomorrow or on Thursday that may or may not render the office of the Deputy President vacant. These are very substantive questions of should the Senate proceed to impeach the Deputy President, who is a petitioner, number one. What will ensue constitutionally in the absence of the IBC vis-a-vis the nomination?
On Wednesday, the National Assembly has been allocated 3 hours to defend its position of removing Gachagua from office, with the Deputy President putting a defense on Thursday ahead of voting to determine his fate. Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
All right, now today the Senate will hold a crucial hearing as Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua faces impeachment proceedings. Now the hearing is set to feature high-profile witnesses from the National Assembly as Gachagua's defense team readies itself for the battle. On Wednesday, the Senate, which is now the trial chamber for the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, will begin the trial for the second-in-command, his fate now hanging by a thread. The proceedings, which are expected to last for 2 days, have captured the attention of the nation, going down in history as the moment the second-in-command in Kenya was put on trial for his conduct while in office. An impeachment motion that is about to change the country's political landscape. The National Assembly has prepared to present its case with key witnesses lined up, including Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, Secretary to the Cabinet Mercy Wanjau, and former KEMSA CEO Andrew Mulwa. These witnesses are expected to testify in a case that could see the DP impeached. According to her affidavit, Wanjau accuses the son of Mathira of undermining a cabinet decision that approved the relocation of Nairobi residents living 30 meters off the Nairobi River. The evacuation plan, which was part of the broader Nairobi River's regeneration and flood mitigation policy, was designed to prevent flooding and environmental degradation. Wanjau maintains that Gachagua opposed this initiative, a move she claims was contrary to the principles of collective cabinet responsibility. His defense:
President William Ruto and I on the campaign trail gave a solemn undertaking to the people of Kenya that under our administration that will never happen. So when I was asked to oversee brutal, inhuman eviction against innocent people without notice, without compensation, without due regard to what the Constitution says, I found it very, very difficult, and I rescued myself and allowed the CS for Interior, the Head of Public Service, the PS for Internal Security to proceed. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja is also set to testify against Gachagua, accusing him of meddling in the operations of the Nairobi County Government. Sakaja has claimed that Gachagua's interaction with traders at Wakulima Market undermined the county's efforts to relocate them.
Mimi naendelea kusimama na haki ya mwananchi wa kawaida. Si ndio? Tuendelee kusimama na haki ya mwananchi wa kawaida.
The second-in-command has this for defense. The traders had sought me out to intervene and request the governor on their behalf to dialogue with them and seek a solution to their grievances with regard to the relocation of markets. Had the governor listened to these traders, they would have had no business coming looking for me. All I was saying is listen to the people. Before you relocate them, have public participation. Former CEO KEMSA Andrew Mulwa has alleged that Gachagua and his youngest son Keith Gachagua tried to coerce the management to award a 3.7 billion tender to supply mosquito net to a company associated with his son. In his affidavit, Mulwa says he has damning evidence that will prove Gachagua's culpability.
Another witness in the impeachment motion against the DP has accused the deputy president of making contradictory statements regarding the ownership of the Olive Garden Hotel. Witness Peterson Mushira, in a sworn affidavit, claimed that Gachagua secretly arranged to retain an interest in the hotel by refunding the purchase price after its sale. Mushira stated that the hotel is now managed by a close associate of the DP, appointed as per their undisclosed agreement.
Based on the response,
the DP has assembled a strong legal defense team led by senior counsel Paul Muite. His lawyers include Victor Swanya, George Wandati, Faith Waigwa, Elisha Ongoya, Ndegwa Njiru, among others. They will face off against National Assembly's legal representatives led by Paul Nyamodi, Eric Gumbo, Kipkogei Moses Kipkemboi, Mudhomi Thiankolu, and others. Gachagua is also expected to present witnesses to argue his case. The hearing will begin tomorrow, Wednesday, with the National Assembly presenting its case. On Thursday, Gachagua will appear before the Senate for a 4-hour defense session, during which he will try to convince the senators to dismiss the charges against him.
And it becomes obvious that we cannot conclude this matter within 2 days.
Brian Amwai, K24. Now, Transport Principal Secretary Mohamed Daga has defended the controversial Adani JKIA lease deal, noting that the facility requires an urgent upgrade. According to Daga, the privately initiated proposal by Adani is the only available avenue to upgrade the facility amid questions over the details of the deal.
Just days after Adani Energy Solutions reportedly inked a $96 billion deal with K24, Transport Principal Secretary Mohamed Daga has joined a bandwagon of government officials who have come to the defense of the Adani JKIA lease deal.
We received a privately initiated proposal from the Adani Airport Holdings Limited in March this year. This was a privately initiated proposal as per the PPP Act that received it, and then it went through the requisite processes. No project agreement was signed. It is also important to clarify that this is an investment proposal. JKA was not being sold. There was a model into it that Adani was supposed to operate the airport for 30 years, pay a concession fee. There is no any government money that was required from the exchequer.
Daga's sentiments come amid tough questions regarding the deal, which was halted by the court. With Adani set to invest $1.85 billion in the 30-year period, Daga noted that the government has fiscal constraints and therefore it cannot fund the much-needed upgrade of the iconic facility.
We do not have the current fiscal space to invest in this airport. Kenya Airports Authority makes a net of $4 billion a year. To raise the 200 billion, assume we do nothing, will require at least 50 years to raise that amount if it was left on behalf of the contracting authority, in this case, to invest in this particular infrastructure.
The PS, alongside Kenya Airways CEO Alan Kilavuka and Kenya Airports Authority Acting CEO Henry Ogoe, who were appearing before the National Assembly Committee on Implementation, were questioned over the performance of the national carrier, with a section of members displeased with its performance compared to rival airlines.
Ethiopia Airlines and the airport, the Bole Airport in Addis Ababa, you land there and you think you are in Heathrow. Us, we are going down. You are even saying, you are admitting, you are shrinking your flight. What is it that the people of Ethiopia are doing that we are not doing as in Kenya? Why are we not protecting our national pride, the pride of Africa?
KAA Acting CEO Henry Ogoe was also put to task over closure of the Kakamega airstrip over its dilapidated state, just a year after renovations worth $174 million.
We have to close it because the runway has developed serious cracks. We have just seen the level of investment which is required. We don't have that money at the moment.
Who was the contractor? What did he do? Why is that airport like in that pathetic situation? And the contractor might just be in town here eating the money of people of Kakamega, and he did total nothing.
As the Kenya Airports Authority struggles to find more funds to run its operations, The trio revealed that plans are underway to decongest and develop facilities across the country, top among them Wilson Airport, before leasing it to private airlines in a bid to generate revenue.
This one.
Ian Keitani, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Right, Universities Academic Staff Union, together with the Kenya University Staff Union, KUSU, have issued a 7-day strike notice to the government due to delays in implementing the 2021-2025 collective bargaining agreement and failing to honor a return-to-work formula. Listing their demands, they have further called for dialogue, noting that the political climate is being used as an excuse to backtrack on their agreements. And as Harry Chimea now reports, students have been urged to desist incitement amid political tensions.
Know that on Tuesday, we are starting the mother of all strikes.
Yet another strike by university employees looms just weeks after they suspended their nationwide action. The 7-day strike notice follows government delays in implementing the 2021-2025 collective bargaining agreement, as well as failure to honor a return-to-work formula.
Universities agreed that automatic annual increment shall be computed at 4% of the basic salary for the 2 years of the CBA cycle of 2021-2025, starting 1st July 2023. Yet to date, neither has the RTWF been operationalized nor the CBA implemented. The return to work formula of 26th September 2024, or we go back to the streets. And we are giving the government only 1 week to implement that return to work formula. Today is 15th, and our members expect new salaries next week.
Among the demands listed is the implementation of the new salary scales between 7% and 10% and convening of an interministerial committee that should finalize the remaining items of the CBA.
By next Tuesday, universities should have given our members the new pay slips with the 7 to 10% factored.
They have also called for dialogue, expressing concerns that the current political climate is being used as an excuse to backtrack on previously agreed terms.
As unions, we strongly encourage dialogue within the political leadership class. It should not be at the expense of justice, equity, and order. Further, we urge all staff and students to remain alert to reactionary forces intent on incitement and maintain calm and restraint. It is our view that both the Senate and judiciary have a responsibility to protect the interests of the public and workers in general as they discharge their respective responsibilities on the subject matter.
Harriet Chimea, K24.
Solidarity forever.
All right, thank you, Harriet Chimea, for that particular report. I believe we move... do we take a break or move to the next? Okay, let's take this. Now, breast cancer over the years has mainly been linked to women, hence the reason why women are at more risk due to hormonal fluctuations. However, men can also develop breast cancer, and even though rare, men should also be aware of common symptoms like lumps, discharge, and skin discoloration around the breast area. Robbie Omondi highlights breast cancer in men.
For most septuagenarians, life in their 70s should be about enjoying life. One would picture them in their retirement running after their doting grandchildren.
I have got an insurance company.
But for some, like John Mwangi Karaoke, this part of their life is spent with endless visits to the hospital.
Because it is now the breast.
On this day, we met him during a chemotherapy session.
Sasa nikiangalia nikaona hiyo nipo imeingia ndani. Nikauliza bibi, namna gani mambo yanaenda hivi, hata titi langu linataka kutoroka liende.
His first hospital visit 2 years ago bore no fruits. It wasn't until the pain he was feeling persisted that he sought a second opinion.
Sasa ikienda kwa kwapa nikasema iko na kitu, na nikaambia bibi iko na kitu hii. Mbona nasikia chungu kidogo.
The 72-year-old was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer early this year after a biopsy exam.
Uvimbe mwenyewe ulitolewa tarehe 12 mwezi wa 5 mwaka huu. Sasa baada ya kutolewa, sasa akasema sasa hiyo inatolewa, inapelekwa kwa mahabara, wanaangalia hata zaidi. Wakaenda wakaangalia hata zaidi, wakasema ndio sasa inatakikana sasa nifanyiwe hii wanaita chemotherapy.
Cancer is a leading cause of death worldwide, accounting for nearly 10 million deaths, were breast cancer accounting for 2.26 million cases, lung cancer 2.21 million cases, colon and rectum 1.93 million cases, stomach cancer accounts for 1.09 million cases. Oncologists note that while breast cancer is more common in women, men should also be aware of common symptoms like lumps, discharge and skin discoloration around the breast area.
In terms of the percentages, it accounts for around 1% of the total number of breast cancers. So it means in 100 people who have breast cancer, then only one is likely to be a man. Most of the time in males, the mass tends to adhere to the chest wall because now there is the breast space is not as adequate in males as it is in females.
Back to Mwangi, the father of 3, cites cost of treatment as a major challenge for most Kenyans.
Kwa sababu utajiuliza kama unataka kula chakula siku hiyo ama unataka kwenda kulipia bima.
And as he sits through his final chemo session, Mwangi is calling on men to go for regular checkups.
Mtu akianza mapema na ikijulikana mapema, unajua kutibu ni rahisi. Lakini ukikaa sana, shida huwa kubwa.
Robbie Omondi, K24.
Now still on that, as the world commemorates the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, cancer patients and survivors are calling on the government to employ more resources in social, economic and health support for such patients due to the expensive nature of treatment and managing the disease rather. Now, according to Health Cabinet Secretary Dr. Deborah Mulongo, the government is committed in supporting cancer treatment through the new Social Health Insurance Fund. Our reporter John Makuba joins us with
at the Bumula grounds in Bungoma County, the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, graced by Health Cabinet Secretary Dr. Deborah Mulongo. Cancer patients and survivors who attended the event hit out at the new Social Health Authority for not taking care of cancer patients, unlike NHIF, which supported the patients for at least Kenyan shillings 100,000 per session.
So unapata saa hizi wale wenye wanaenda kwa treatment imekuwa ni ngumu sana kwa sababu ya hii rollout ya SHA na from NHIF. Wengi haifanyi kazi na unapata wagonjwa wengi wako nyumbani wanaumia.
I have been trying to register, but when you go to check your profile, it is telling you coming soon. If it is coming soon, when will it ever assist us?
Dr. Mulongo, however, said the government, through the new medical cover, is committed in ensuring that all Kenyans get quality health services, including cancer patients.
Kugeuza ama change is not easy. Tukizoea maneno tunataka kubaki hapo. Lakini na hii social health insurance inahakikisha Wakenya wote wanaweza pata huduma. Na sasa ndio maana tunasema to register.
Unlike the myths and beliefs that cancer is like a death sentence, the survivors have given a ray of hope for those going through the medications as they call on Kenyans to go for early cancer screenings.
Cancer ni ugonjwa na inaweza katibika na mtu anaweza akapona, so long as you have positive attitude towards it.
Uko na cancer,
what next, serikali ishughulike, huyo mtu aanzishwe matibabu mapema.
Tumeamua kama Wizara ya Afya kwamba mradi ambaye sasa tutakuwa tukiendesha ni ile ya kuzuia ugonjwa, sababu wahenga walisema ni rahisi kuzuia kuliko kuponya.
The national government and Bungoma County government were also on defense as community health volunteers decried 6 months stipends delays. This comes even as the government mounts pressure on residents to be registered on the new health insurance model.
Sasa muone nyinyi ni wa muhimu na tutawashughulikia kabisa kama county na pia kama national. Hiyo pesa tunaenda kushughulikia.
Kama hujapata iko inakuja. Muweni na imani. Si ni kweli?
John Makuba, K24 TV.
All right, it is 25 minutes past the hour. Time to take our first break here on K24's morning show, that is New Dawn. Right, just like I had promised you earlier, that we'll be having a conversation, of course, from this particular moment all the way to 10 a.m. before we cross over to the Senate to try and follow on the proceedings of the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, with the National Assembly expected to table evidence that will see his ouster and also give a chance to the Deputy President, that is tomorrow, to be able to defend himself. Of course, today is just about the DP. This is historic. The first time in our nation under the new constitution that you're seeing an impeachment motion against the second in command. This program has started this early. We'll go all the way until this is done. My name is Brian Amwai. Continue engaging us on our socials at K24 TV across social media platforms. We'll be back in a minute with more on the conversation around what is shaping news today in the country.